In the Black community, we have a phrase: you played yourself. This phrase can be applied in spiritual practices or people that are into various spiritual practices. And it can be translated to, you hexed yourself. So what do I mean by this, family? People sometimes do not realize the amount of respect that you have to deal with a person that you are dating that are into various traditions. Okay? If you are a man and you're dating a woman that is into Santeria, you need to be very careful how you deal with that woman. If you are a woman that is dealing with a man that is into voodoo, you need to be very careful how you're dealing with that man. You have to deal with that person in a very respectful way. And the reason is because you don't know how far the lengths of those spirits that are guarding them will go to protect their child. You understand? And this is something that is often a hard lesson for people to learn. It's often a hard lesson for people to learn because of the ramifications that often come with this lesson. Okay? I'm going to give an example, right? I am a practitioner of Puerto Rican Sanse, and I'm also a devotee of Ifa. And with that being said, the Orisha that rules my head is Eshu, and the one who holds my feet is Oshun. And so with that being said, Oshun is my mother, Eshu is my father. There's a phrase that we say: when the children of Eshu cry tears, Eshu cries blood. Oshun is known as being one of the sweetest Orisha, but also the most vengeful when she's angry. The most Orisha that you don't want to upset. So imagine I'm being guarded by these Orisha, and a woman comes along and she breaks my heart. I don't have to do work on that person. Those Orisha will naturally spring into action, no different than a parent springing into the action of taking care of their child. And we see this in many ways. Some of you guys are out there and you're working with various loa. Some of you guys are out there and you're working with different saints. And those saints and those loa are very protective of you. And you don't even have to tell them at times to spring into action when certain scenarios occur. They just do it. And then you see misery befall the ones who have betrayed you. Misery befalls the ones who have abandoned you and left you in the dark. This is very common. I always tell people, when you're looking to get into a relationship with someone that is tied deeply into spiritual practices, you want to approach that relationship with you know, what they say in Ifa as Iwapeli, good character. You want to approach the situation with good character and a mindset of longevity. Yes. See, when you deal with a witch, you're not going to deal with that witch for no one-nighter. You need to be thinking about that witch as a possible wife, or don't deal with her. Check. Because the spirits that are around this witch may or may not be tolerant of trickery, of lies, of deceit, of betrayal. And so you have to deal with this person with a certain amount of respect. And we can interchange the word fear with respect, because fear is respect. If you look up the word fear, you will see the word respect associated to it. It doesn't always mean to be mortified by a thing. It just means to be respectful of that thing. There should be an element of fear there when you're approaching these type of people, because they can bring serious damage to you if you do not handle them correctly. When the troubles start to befall you from those actions, there won't even be a cleanse or something that can truly get that off of you. It will be very difficult to, because every time that that person thinks about the situation, every time that person thinks about the betrayal, what will happen? It's almost like re-energizing their guardians. It's almost like opening up the wound again for their guardians to spring into action, for those santos, for those loa, for those orisha to spring into action because their child is hurting. Let's say that you are a woman and you're dealing with a man who is heavily involved in these practices. While you're dealing with that man, you need to be very respectful to that man, and you need not betray his trust, and you need not betray him in any way. Because if you do, the things that can come upon you from that betrayal, you may not be able to bounce back from, or they can have lasting effects. They can follow you around for years and years and years. And you will think that he cursed you. And in actuality, he didn't curse you. You cursed yourself. You cursed yourself because you did not approach the situation with iwapeli, with good character, or you left the situation disrespectfully. You know, oftentimes you will hear people that are, you know, from various traditions, and they will say things like, in reality, this relationship isn't over until I say it's over. And that's a very true thing. Because if that person is not ready to let you go, likely those spirits are not ready to let you go. And this is a harsh reality of the situation. You know, a lot of women say, oh, I want a man that's fair. A lot of women jump in my inbox and they get to talking that shit. Oh, I want a man that's spiritual like you. And this, what? No, you don't. Because you're not ready to commit yourself in a way like that. So don't jump the gun. You might need to still deal with muggles that you can play around, play little games with. Because on this side, it's more of, if you take me, you got to take all these spirits with me. They are part of it too. And once you become a part of it, they may not want you to go. And then what? How are you going to react? Are you going to be the one that sticks it out like an ancient person? Which in ancient societies, people found ways to make a relationship work. That's why they didn't have the same problems today. But today, people think it's so easy to get up and leave and go about their own way. Wrong. Because those entities may not want that. And so now what can you do? Also, you have to be aware of the knowledge that was accumulated over the course of the relationship. What do I mean by that? Let's say you were in a relationship with a man and you knew that he didn't like or was kind of insecure, or maybe he was uncomfortable with a certain ex of yours. And then you leave that man in a disrespectful manner. And on top of leaving him in a disrespectful manner, you go and you deal with that same ex. Wrong move. And the type of things that will start to befall you could be lasting and likely will come through that person that you betrayed him with, or that you in a way violated, because you knew how he felt about that individual. And you know who else knows? His spirits. They know that too. And so a situation like that could lead to, maybe it starts off with troubles with your car, and now you're having car troubles. Your car doesn't start, you need to get it towed. And then it moves on to the man that you're the ex that you're dealing with starts to like throw off your pH balances and things like that, because now you interacting sexually with them, and the spirits are intervening. Now your pH is messed up. A disease could come through him, and now you have an STI or STD, and it comes through the one that you betrayed, the spiritualist that you just left. That new relationship that you formed with that ex could become a point of pain for you, and likely will not be prosperous, and likely over time will have very strong ramifications and lead to harsh consequences. And this can also apply to anybody that you date from that point out, where now you start to feel like you're having bad luck when it comes to love and relationships. Um, things just won't go right. This is very common. You will start to see, wow, things are not working out. I don't know why. I don't know what's wrong with me. But in reality, that person's that you just left, that spiritualist, his Orisha, his Loa, his Santos are not going to let you rest. They're not going to let you rest, because why? You left the situation disrespectfully. You betrayed him, and he was not even ready to let that relationship go. Or maybe everything that was an option was not exhausted. Maybe you didn't exercise all the options available to make that work. You see? So in these times, this is where people have to humble themselves. Humble yourself and realize that there are things in the world bigger than you, and that you still have to treat people with respect, and you still have to honor the promises that you made in love with a person that's connected to divine forces. Because it can bring you a world of trouble, and most times it does. Did he have to curse you? No, you cursed yourself because of how you handle things. In reality, if that relationship was not to work, you are supposed to try to mend things as peaceful as possible, so that if you both are going to go your separate ways, there is a starch clarity in that. And he doesn't feel disrespected and he doesn't feel slighted. Because if he feels disrespected, you can bet all of your money that his spirits feel that way as well. And they will make you pay a grave price for it. You see, this is something that I've observed over and over and over again. And understanding this, I now have the the experience and the willpower to turn down most advances that come to me, because I know you're not going to be able to go the distance. So let's not even go anywhere, because I'm not going to even expend energy in that direction. I know who my Orisha are, and they are very vengeful and they are very protective. And so by that, I protect you too. Go find somebody else. Leave the brujo to do what he do, because you're not going to be serious. You see, when you approach people that are deep in these practices, you have to approach them with a seriousness as well, with an intent that this is going to be something that you are invested in. Because if that's not so, pobrecito, you will pay a grave price. You know, in my life, I've had all kind of things happen on the strength of lovers and things like that. And you know, when shit hits the fan, people want to call my parents and try to call my father or try to call my mother. They can't help you, because they can't pull back Oshun. They cannot pull back Eshu. I can't even do it when it gets to that point. They're gonna move how they're gonna move. Huh? And this is the tricky part in it, right? And don't let you be a person, like, let's say if you're a man and you know you're dating this woman and you decide to get on your bullshit. Don't let her be a vengeful woman, because on top of her spirits and her ancestors mollywopping you, she's gonna add on top of that. And she's going to do it with the intent of adding on top of that. And then what will you do? You're going to sit your ass there and suffer, as you should. Because like I always say, if you're dumb enough to disrespect the witch, if you're dumb enough to betray a shaman, you deserve anything that comes with that. You deserve it, because you earned it. Because why? You played a stupid game, and so you get a stupid prize. Would you walk up to a fucking tiger and slap the shit out of it? No. So why would you walk up to a witch and play with their heart? That is the dumbest shit that you can do. And you deserve anything that comes with that. So that is my message for today, family. Be sure that you're operating with Iwapeli, good character, if you are a muggle approaching a witch. And if you are a witch, be aware that your spirits are going to be particularly protective. So do a better job of screening these people so that you can save a lot of this energy. Okay? And for those that want to be dating people in these different traditions and spiritual traditions, just do the right fucking thing. And when you don't do the right thing and shit start not going right for you, don't be, now they hexed you and then you're trying to call their best friends to get it off of you or call their parents to get it off of you. Fuck that. You should just do the right thing. And then you won't have to worry about any of those things happening to you, because you will be coming from a place of purity. And so even if it does not work out, it will be done in a respectful way where that person can gain the clarity that they need to move on if that's what's going to happen. But you cannot go being a piece of shit and then expect that the spirits are going to reward that when they're coming off of this person. It's not going to happen. So that's just a little dose of reality. And with that said, family, y'all stay growing, y'all stay learning. For those who want to learn further, the mentorship is available. For those who need insight, readings are available. So with that said, I'll get with y'all. Aye, bobo.